Yeah, what's up, everybody? This is Rod God coming at you with another video. Now, okay, today's date is, give me 1 second. Today's date is October 11th, 2017. This was on Google's main page when you type in google.com. This was on Google's main page. Now, it's something that I want you to peep right here. I didn't know nothing about this. I didn't know who this guy was. Only thing I noticed is that, the obvious. Well, whatever's hidden in plain sight, which is the dome. Not only the dome, you see somebody right here. Obviously, they traveling, and they made it across to Antarctica. Obviously, because there goes a pole. But one thing I don't get, you see the sun, the rays, nothing is protruding past the dome. But if you look over here on Antarctica side, you will see the smoke is rising outside the dome like it's a hole in the firmament. And also notice this, the North Star. I think they be putting stuff in plain sight. And also this, the Nansen's passport. This is like early settler. Well, I did a little research on him. He was an early settler. Actually, him and it was a couple of other guys. It was a race for the pole before Elmer Byrd went in the 1920s or whatever. This was in the early 1900s, like in the beginning, like the first 10 years and a little bit before. But yeah, it was a couple other dudes and two other dudes actually too as well. I'm gonna put a pause on this. I'm gonna give you a little bit more information on this, but I just want you to peep game. Actually, he was a very good sledder, skier. That's what he was doing. He was the man in that, and I believe he won gold medals and everything in that. But a great expeditionist, a lot of people show him a lot of respect. But what I want you to notice is this: with everything that's going on today, like with Antarctica and why all these high priests and religious leaders or national leaders got together all of a sudden and had a meeting, and what's really going on, what did they find, what did they discover. And you also have to know this as well, that dating way before this man time, he was born in, well, I believe he was born in, hold on, let me just bring this up so I could give you, he was born in 1861 and he died. Died May 13th, 1930. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to notice about these maps, these ancient maps that people have that shows Antarctica as dry land. They don't show Antarctica being surrounded by ice or an ice-filled continent. You understand? Now, there's more things that we have to understand as a people. Like, how many settlers did we have go around the world? Because all of a sudden it seems like we only know about Christopher Columbus. Like, who the fuck is that? He didn't even discover America. So I don't even know what's really good with that. You have to do your research, because in 1491. In 1491, a man by the name of Ignatius of Loyola, if I pronounce that correctly, this man created the order of the Jesuits with the Catholic Church. And the order of the Jesuits basically was to venture out beyond their land to other lands to enslave any and all copper-colored or dark-skinned people in the world. This man prayed in front of a black Madonna and Jesus before he even went out to start conquering. And that is the truth. Just like every priest and pope that you see, trust me, you might see white Jesus everywhere. But behind closed doors in a sanctuary where they praying to a black Jesus, Madonna, Mary, whatever you want to call it. But this is very serious. So they teamed up with other pale skinned Roman. In 1492, Columbus came sailing to the Americas with a Moor. Yeah, with a black man, right? Came sailing to the Americas with a black man. If you look at George Washington and all his pictures and shit, what's that? The Tea Party, Boston Tea Party, even, the famous ship with him on the boat, it was a black man in the back. George Washington sitting on a horse, it was a Moor in the background. A lot of people don't understand that. They wouldn't know where the fuck they was going or know what they doing without the Moors being right there, which we have to say, as us being the people, the Moors was a trader. Not all Moors, but the Moors around that time was traders because they was helping to enslave our own people. Now, this is just something real quick. Oh yeah, in the same year, Romans, and I think it was King Ferdinand and Queen Elizabeth too. They was down with this, and they came together, and they basically sold out. And this basically, when it comes to the next year, 1492, and what's that most famous for is because so-called a man named Columbus discovered America. No, what really happened was they had the order of the Jesuits, and they all teamed up, kings and the queens, along with the popes, and they went out to search for distant lands where they know copper color aborigines were present at, because of other explorers like Magellan. It's another person that I can't think of right now, but explorer named Gerard, Magellan, Gerard. These guys, they sailed out and they met people, and they wrote down in their diaries talking about what kind of people they ran into, and they all ran into the same people. Now back to Columbus. Columbus, for him to even navigate, to even know where he was going, he was on the boat with three more brothers called the Nino brothers. Okay, they was like the pilot of the ships, they navigators, and they basically helped Columbus get to the new land. Now, to the order of the Jesuits, that's what they did. So they sent out to see what they about to get into before they came back and conquered. That have to do with the Mayflower impact and the wipeout of the Indians from part of America where I'm from, on the East Coast. I'm from Connecticut. So like Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine, these areas was prone to like the first attacks and landings of pilgrims or Europeans when it came to this new land. Now, back to the Moors. We was ruling in the Dark Ages. Dark Ages would, and some, historical postings would tell you from like 300s all the way to the 800s. But that's the main dominant, you know what I'm saying? Or it could go on to the thousands. See, so dark-skinned people was ruling basically all countries and continents. Spain, England, Scotland. Trust me, it's in the history, but they try to whitewash a lot of history and paintings to make it seem like it wasn't dark-skinned people. But it's not about this whole race thing. It's about knowing the truth, I mean, if you white and you